long we do reorg, so I appreciate everything. Okay, all right, so we are officially doing what we're doing. That's good. Thanks for remembering that, Elizabeth. It's, you know, the little things sometimes. Setting the next agenda.
Oh, I don't know.
It's totally fine.
Okay.
So I would throw out there, I think we've identified that we want to specifically talk about hiring practices for administration. Just making sure that we're clear on that. At our level, since that is something that we play a hand in.
So our next meeting would be April 1st.
Yeah.
And then we have the election the next day. Okay.
That is correct. Yep. Yep. So actually,
I'm coming the second week. I'll just be here alone.
okay. Yep. So April 1st, we'll be doing that. So I'll talk about admin hiring practices and start to work on that. Bill, do you have a thought?
Yeah, and not necessarily next meeting, but the year's coming to an end. I would like, as a board, to continue discussing, ways to cooperate between the two different town schools, the buildings to try to share. And I think by doing that, we can, as a board, begin to dispel the fear of closing out the bridge. And that's when often in the past discussions of sharing resources, no matter what happens or what doesn't happen, there's that fear of that we're going to close out the bridge. And so I just think keeping that as part of our ongoing discussion, we can move forward and start to share resources. And I think we started to share resources, but I think it's good to keep it as part of the discussion, because both buildings have, both staffs, both administrators have much to offer, and it would be great to be able to share those resources back and forth, and also the expertise.
Certainly. I'm thinking, and because this is the first meeting of this board, maybe we can look a little bit ahead to some stuff that might want to call, not next meeting, but further down the line. Maybe when we are in the space where we're starting to really plan for enrollments for the next school year, and that might be an appropriate time to look at that. I had a similar item, maybe not termed that way, but what the status of enrollment, having students from Windsor enrolled in Albert Bridge, and then going on to what Bill said, some of the greater integration between those two schools. I know that there are currently Windsor students who have voluntarily opted to go to Albert Bridge. And I guess my understanding is that was expanding, and I'd be interested to hear how, or at least that was the goal, was to have that be more of a feature. So I'd be interested to hear how that is proceeding. And
When would you like that, Davis?
When would make the most sense? I mean, I think maybe not next month, but maybe May.
Maybe May. Okay.
Yeah, May or I'd say June at the latest.
Kindergartners.
So May 1st is when we've asked for the deadline for the for the new one for next year. So we would have a sense of who is new.
So you might have some idea. That would be the deadline.
Yeah, but
That's
it
a
really-
deadline for application stuff.
Yeah.
Within the policy, it is the board's and administrative purview to move students anyway. And I'm not necessarily suggesting that in any way, shape, or form, but I do know there are certain needs at Albert Bridge. I'm sure there's certain needs at Windsor as well, as which, especially along the lines of students who are excelling in need of enrichment in some way, just to be able to tap both staff, both buildings, and the possibility to help provide that enrichment for the students, not necessarily on enrollment, but to benefit from the expertise of the staff in the area of both buildings. Doesn't necessarily mean that a student has to attend one school or the other as well, so.
Right, and we do some of that now. We do, like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I usually bring, students over since the beginning of the year, whether it's 3 or, right now we have 1 that come over for a specific thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So a lot of it has to do with us trying to coordinate the schedules in a way that supports the students not missing out on, right, too much stuff there. And then not wasting too much time in transportation.
Sure, yep. And Elizabeth, do you have a comment on that? Or another agenda? You're muted.
I was gonna ask if we could hear about the PLPs versus the leader in me thing, and if we could get examples, that would be really helpful. And what was the other thing? Oh, just one quick thing for Jennifer Aldrich. I noticed that you put something on Front Porch Forum about the open enrollment between the districts.
Yep.
Planning to do that in Windsor as well?
Yeah, I think we could do that. I don't have a Windsor account.
You send it to Lori.
Okay.
I think you could, I mean, it might be good to put in Tom Marsh's newsletter.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay, reach out to Lori and just see if she can do that.
Yeah, and if you send it to me, Jen, I can put it in my newsletter, which gets posted, Tom will post, but,
Okay.
for the community.
Can we hear about the Marsh intensives too?
Yeah.
Put it on the agenda. Okay. On the slides.
And then I don't think I have anything for next meeting per se, but just to start to get things on our radar, looking at the rest of the year. I'm glad onboarding came up in the hiring process, because one thing I would really like to do is establish a standard onboarding procedure for the board. I think this is a pretty good year to do it, because given the fact that you have both had board experience, it's not as much of a concern this year. There are going to be years where it is, and in the time that I've been here, I've not gotten the impression that there is really anything of a standard that we follow around that. I know that there are some resources that we direct folks to at the VSBA, but I think that it goes in that bucket of things that we can do to just build some, even if they're not capital P policies or procedures, build some enduring materials and make sure that when we are faced with the situation where a brand new person joins the board, we have a little bit of a path to guide them through, and some resources even beyond what the VSBA has that speak to our district being the unique district that it is. Yeah, I think that might be a good summer thing to talk about once we're out of the school year, but I think it's worth spending some time at, maybe even at a retreat and spend some time on that. And then the other thing, and this is a little bit of a blast in the past, but I know that, again, maybe in the summer, we start to talk about how we want to approach resignations. I know that we had a little bit of a rash of unexpected mid-year resignations with
Staff
resignations, yes. And specifically mid-contract resignations, and what our MO is to deal with those, because I think that it was pushing on some norms that I think that not having specifically addressed them, it could be a little bit uncomfortable. So again, I think that in the summer, maybe in June or July, having that as an agenda item, and then having that conversation, and just
Absolutely.
having an MOU or something that we all understand and that our staff understands about, if you were to decide to resign in the middle of a contract, this is what you can expect from the board.
Okay, that sounds great.
And that is,
So the April administrative report, which includes discussion on PLPs versus student led portfolios with examples, would be helpful. And like intensive specifically. Right. Items for discussion and action if needed. Hiring practice for administrators, we'll bring that.
yes,
We'll look at that.
Yep.
And then hiring practices in general, progress we're making.
excellent.
And then for May, we've got to appoint a new clerk. So we'll have to wait till after April 1st, right?
Yep.
I've got, there was a request from Rebecca. She's not here anymore, but I still think it's valid where our high school students are going.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
May?
oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, let's
And
do that.
then items for discussion and action if needed, integration between Windsor and ABS, is that a good way to phrase it?
Yeah, I
So with the number of students take advantage of the intra, I was getting mixed up, district choice, enrichment opportunities for students, and anything else that comes up, under that collaboration. And then for June, which is typically the board retreat.
Mhm.
Onboarding for board members, how to handle staff resignations.
Awesome.
Good. And anything else that comes up.
I'm sure we'll think of more, but I think for right now, that is a good place to start. And let's see, we have set the next agenda. Anybody feel like we need executive session? I sure don't. Cool. Well, in that case, we don't need a motion to adjourn, right? I'll take a motion to
I
adjourn.
think we do. don't
we do, yes.
So moved.
So we don't need a second though for that.
Right.
So, all right, all in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned at 9:10 PM. Thank you so much for sticking around.